Well, we're ready to install the shelf. We have two shelves in both corners of the shower. And here's the shelf we have. It's one from Home Depot. It looks like this in the box. It matches our tile really well. And we already have left the cutouts for where we're going to attach it. It's got this little flange on either side. We're going to put the tile adhesive, the same tile adhesive we used to put the tiles on the wall, put it on all the edges. Set it in place, and then we're going to hold it with, I'm not sure if we're going to use masking tape or this duct tape, and we're going to attach it to the wall. It should stay pretty well, you can see, but the tape is just to hold it in place for a day or so. I think a tiny little pitch downward so the water drains out. It's already kind of built in, but it doesn't sit really well, but we're going to fill the cracks with grout after the tile adhesive dries. Okay, here's the tile adhesive on the shelf. I'm not sure if I put too much or not enough, if I should put it on the side, but I put a lot on there. And I better get the tape ready. And I'm squeezing it in there. I don't know if I like that. No. That was probably good. And I think it's at too much of an angle, so I'm going to lift it up and have it stay right there if I can with the tape. Just kind of eyeballing the level there. And now I have to wipe off that excess tile adhesive. Alright, well actually I pulled that off. I didn't like it, still felt loose in there, and as I pull it off I can see there wasn't tile adhesive in all the areas, so I put a lot more on. I figure it couldn't hurt if it squeezes out, and this doesn't fit super tight to the wall. So we need that tile adhesive to kind of fill the gaps. And there, I can see that has got a lot more tile adhesive squeezing out of the joints, so I can tell it's holding a lot better. So I'm going to tape that in place now. Yeah, that feels a lot more solid. Last time it was wiggling around in there, and now I can tell that it's really held in place a lot better. And I don't even really need tape, but I'm a lot happier with this. I'm glad I took it off the wall and redid it. And now I really have a lot of tile adhesive to clean up in the joints. And here's the second one going in. Again, I put a lot of tile adhesive on this. But that's holding, and it feels like it's in there pretty solid. Alright, it has been 2 days since I put in the shelves, and I just took the tape off, and it seems pretty solid, although I did see some cracking in the tile adhesive along the edge. I think it's okay because it's being held in with a lot of that tile adhesive. So now I'm going to seal the tile, and I have a sponge, a bucket, and I have 2 different sealers. They came in a kit from Lowe's when we bought them. This is a spray, and this is the heavy duty liquid. So I'm going to put this in the bucket, wipe everything down, and this is really important for our tile because we have porous stone and we don't want any water getting through it. So I might do 2 coats, but I'm going to put it on and then let it sit for a few minutes and then wipe it off. Well, I just got done with the first coat, and it says on the instructions on the back of this one, if you see it absorb, if it dries, put another coat on. So you put a little more in the bucket, put another coat on, and then it says wipe it off. So I think they don't want you leaving sticky waterproofing on there, so I'll wipe it off with a damp cloth, I think. Okay, I've finished the second coat, and it's been about 5 or 10 minutes, so I filled the bucket with water. I didn't wipe anything down, so there's probably still some residue from the sealer, but I'm just going to wipe the water over everything and then dry it off. Alright, I can tell the sealer's working because it's starting to bead up on there. And the last thing I'm going to do is spray it with this cleaner and resealer. I think it's mainly for cleaning, but I'm just going to coat everything lightly and let it dry, and hopefully that'll seal all the tile. Alright, that's it. And the good thing about this is you can do it once or twice a year, just to seal everything and make sure it doesn't leak through the tile. Well, in order to stay consistent with our screwing up every step of this project, we ran into another problem. We bought all new hardware handles for this. Here's the old ones, and these fit on this metal ridged end piece, and these new handles have a different fitting. It's plastic, it's much bigger, and they don't fit on. In fact, these turn around, several times. The new ones only turn 90 degrees. So we thought we could get an adapter. It turns out we have to replace all the hardware, the fixture, and here. Luckily we have an access in the back room, so I'm going to cut the copper, take all this out. Hopefully the new parts will fit in without us having to trim any of the tile. So it's going to buy some copper tubing, some solder and flux. Luckily there's shut-off valves, so I don't have to turn off water to the entire house. But I don't know, just another problem we ran into. We should have checked before. It would have been much easier to replace this when we had all the tile off. But we didn't look, so we have to do it now. Okay, here's the tools I think I'm going to be using. On the top is just a thin metal piece of metal, and that's going to be my heat shield. In the middle there, that's going to be the pipe cutter
It's an old one, but it should work. I have the solder and the flux, water-based flux, water-soluble flux on the left, and the blowtorch. So I'm going to cut the pipes. I might have to use a hacksaw, and I also have a crescent wrench right here for tightening the bolts, but that's pretty much it. And I'm going to have a lot of these little couplings and other pipe that I'm going to be combining everything together, but that's the basic tools that I'll be using. Alright, well here's what it looks like behind the shower. I took off this access panel in the closet, and you can see this goes to the shower, this goes to the downspout, the hot and the cold, and luckily I have these two shutoff valves which I just turned off, and you can see the hardy backer we put up and the foam that came through. I do have this part right here, or this tool, and it will allow me to get in all these tight places and cut it off. So I shut the water off. I'm gonna cut up as high as I can, because hopefully I can just buy a new flange, fit it on, and solder around it. So I'm gonna try to get up, and I can always cut it lower if I need to. It doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't go all the way around. I might have to use a hacksaw to cut it because there's not a lot of space. You can see that I can't get all the way around, so I'm gonna have to finish. I got this cut 80% of the way. I'm gonna have to finish the cut from behind, so I'll have to do that with all of these. Okay, so before I take all of the cut through all the copper in the back, I'm gonna come up here and take out these fittings on the front. Already got one out. I just thought this would be smart so we didn't damage the tile as I'm pulling these out from the back. Good thing is I don't need that special socket tool because everything's exposed. And that looks pretty beat up. All the rubber bushings are missing anyways, so I guess it was probably a good thing we changed these. Instead of taking the quick route, we probably should have done it like this when we had the whole stuff off anyways. And this one should just pull right out when we pull the whole unit off. One good thing I found after taking that off is now I have a lot more play and I can get this all the way around. So luckily I don't have to get the hacksaw in there. I can use the same tool and get that last little bit around the back because I can bend this out of the way now. So I got that cut, got this one cut. I just got to try to cut the top one so I can break it. There we go. And that's that whole unit come off. getting ready to solder the pieces, and I don't have the whole unit down here because I don't need it yet. This is the fitting that will go to the downspout, and this is another fitting that will go up to the shower head. And I can do these separate so I don't have to do them in the wall. I have 3 more to do upstairs, and those I'll have to do in place with a heat shield behind it. But these I can do right here, so I've cleaned them off. I just have to add the flux, and then we'll start heating it up with the blowtorch and soldering these joints. The video you just watched was just one part from a series of bathroom remodel videos we did. Click next to see the next video in the series, or you could check out my bathroom remodel playlist to see all the videos we did while remodeling the 3 bathrooms in our house. And if you found this video helpful, feel free to like the video and subscribe. Thanks.